So again, my name is Alex Rivera. I'm the manager of community engagement here at the Make-A-Wish Greater Los Angeles chapter. My job is basically to do exactly this: go out, share our mission in our community, create relationships with different community stakeholders so that we can support more wishes here in the Los Angeles area. So as was mentioned, Make-A-Wish was actually founded a little earlier than 1983 because of a boy named Chris Gracious. So Chris Gracious was 7 years old at the time. He was battling leukemia, and he lived with his mom, and he lived in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Chris had a passion for being a police officer. That's what he wanted to be when he grew up. In his eyes, police officers were the good guys trying to fight the bad guys. Somewhat like his body was trying to fight the bad guys in his body, the leukemia. So word got out to the community that he loved police officers, that he always pretended to be police officers, and so the community decided that they wanted to create a special day for him so that he got to live out his dream. So in that day, the sheriff's department in Phoenix created a whole entire day for him to get the VIP experience as a police officer. He got an honorary badge, he got a full tailored uniform, his Smokey the Bear hat. They pretended to fight bad guys all day, the whole community got together, and he just had the best day ever. Unfortunately, a few days after his wish, Chris passed away. He was buried in his uniform from the day of his wish. He got a whole police funeral. And from that sparked the idea that there's more children out there like Chris. And they needed to do something about it. And so the people who granted his wish, along with Chris's mother, decided to start Make-A-Wish. And so from there, we started the national organization, which now has grown not just nationally, but also internationally. Here in the United States, we have 60 chapters across the United States. That means we cover every corner of the country. We're granting wishes all over the country and all over the world. So our LA chapter was founded in 1983. We're based here in West Los Angeles, but we cover the entire Los Angeles County. So for us, you are local. For us, you're a part of our territory. We cover this Palmdale, Lancaster area, down south to the Long Beach and the Southgate cities, all the way from the west side and the San Fernando Valley, all the way east to Pomona and West Covina. So it's a huge area that we're covering, and we're making a huge impact all over the county. So our mission is simple. We grant wishes. We grant wishes to children with critical illnesses, to enrich their human experience and to bring them hope, strength, and joy. There's a huge misconception about what Make-A-Wish does that I'm sure if I asked 90% of you would raise your hand. Who thinks that Make-A-Wish only serves our terminal kids? That's a huge misconception that almost everyone that I talk to still believes. That's how we got started. We did at first only grant wishes to terminal kids, but we have completely grown from that. 70% of our wish kids grow into adulthood, and they get to come back and talk about how wish has impacted their life. And so if there's one thing that you take away from here is that we're serving more kids with a variety of medical conditions. Our medical eligibility is constantly being updated so that we can continue to serve more kids, because we're seeing that wishes are making a huge impact. And it's part of the treatment process, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So we are a federated model, like I mentioned, so we have 60 chapters. We're the Greater Los Angeles chapter, and so we're technically our own entity. Every chapter has its own 501c3 status, and so we're raising money locally. We have our own staff, we have our own board of directors, we have our own CEO, but we work kind of under that Make-A-Wish umbrella. Our headquarters is in Phoenix, which is where Chris's wish was granted. And so we do have a national office in Phoenix that is there to provide guidance and support for all the different chapters. So how do we grant wishes? Every wish starts with a referral. A wish kid has to be referred by either their parents, the family member. A wish kid can refer themselves. Sometimes we get phone calls in the office from wish kids telling us their wishes right off the bat. Our number one referral source is definitely our hospitals. So we work very closely with our children's hospitals, with our pediatric units. Our number one referral source is our Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, but we also work with UCLA, Kaiser, Long Beach Millers, etc. And so we work very closely with the social workers and the child life specialists and the doctors because they're kind of providing this extra service or this extra experience for these families going through this difficult time. Once a child gets referred to Make-A-Wish, we have to make sure they're eligible, and so there's only 3 eligibility requirements. Every child has to be between the ages of 2.5 and 18 years old at the time of referral. They must have never received a wish before by either Make-A-Wish or another wish-granting organization, and they have to have a qualifying medical condition. As I mentioned, we have a very long list of those medical conditions, and the doctors help us kind of determine whether they're eligible to receive a wish through our foundation. Once they meet those 3 criteria, these wish kids are going to get a wish. We don't look at socioeconomic status, we don't look at legal status. The type of wish might be determined by certain factors, but regardless of what that is, they're going to get some sort of wish. So once we determine that that child is eligible, then we start the wish process. We have our wish granting volunteers who go out and meet with our wish kids, and they do what's called a wish discovery. A wish discovery is exactly that. They discover the child's wish. They interview the kids, they get to know the children, they get to kind of figure out what makes them happy, what makes them excited, who are they. From there, we try to get some wish ideas. Those little ones are hard to get wishes out of, especially if they don't know what a wish is. But those older kids definitely will have a long list of wishes that they have. From there, we work together with the wish kid to determine what their one true wish is. What is the heart of the wish? Why is it their wish? And from there, we determine what the wish is, and we get it approved by not just our chapter, but also by their doctor to make sure that it's medically appropriate for them. Once we determine a wish, once the wish is approved, we have our wish team in the office who is going to handle all the behind the scenes work. One of the best compliments that we get from wish families is that we think of everything. So whether it's a one-day experience, whether it's a week-long trip, we make sure that everything is taken care of so the family doesn't have to worry about anything. We make sure we give them spending money, we take care of transportation, we take care of the activities. We personalize the wish depending on what that wish child is imagining and dreaming of. And we create an amazing wish experience. And the volunteers will go out for a second time and do what we call a wish reveal. Now that's the best part of everything that we do. We get to deliver the wish to the child and let them know that their wish is finally coming true. Sometimes, I think those are mainly the videos that you'll get to see is that surprise factor. We try to keep it a surprise from those kids. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it works, it's a really special moment because we're basically delivering this experience to them and letting them know that time that they were waiting is finally coming true. So what are the different types of wishes? I always like to share this because a lot of people think we only grant Disney wishes, which it is a lot of the wishes that we grant, but there's a lot of different types of wishes. Kids are getting so creative with what they're wishing for. Long gone are the days of shopping sprees and even Disneyland trips. They are getting very creative. So we have 5 different wish types. Our first wish type is I wish to go. So those are our travel wishes. Disneyland, Disney World, obviously are very popular ones, but we also have kids who are wishing to go to Australia. They're going to Dubai, they're going to New York City, they're going to Hawaii. Little 6-year-old Natalia that I met the other day went to Moana's Island, which is in Hawaii. So they are getting to travel the world. Our second wish type is I wish to go, or I wish to be. So those are our experience wishes. We have kids who wish to be a pop star for a day. They wish to be a chef for a day. They wish to be a princess. They wish to be an astronaut. They wish to be anything you can imagine. And those are really special wishes because it's totally based on their imagination. So what does it mean for them to be a pop star for a day? For one of our wish kids who came to LA to be a celebrity for the day, her vision of being a celebrity for the day was riding around in a limo filled with candy. So we went to the store, we bought a cart full of candy, we decorated the limo, and she lived out the best day ever. Another wish type is I wish to have. So those are our tangible wishes. Things like I wish to have a shopping spree. I wish to have a laptop. I wish to have an Xbox. I wish to have a dog or a puppy. Those are also really special wishes. We also have I Wish to Meet. Those are our celebrity wishes, and we work with our national office to grant those wishes. And we're lucky to have a lot of support from different celebrities, whether it's in the movie industry, the sports industry, and they're really supportive of our Wish Kids. And so our number one wish granter, I don't know if anyone can guess, is John Cena. He has granted over 500 wishes for our chapter, and he's an amazing, amazing wish granter. We're also seeing a lot of YouTube wishes, which I don't know most of them. We're usually researching them in the office, but we're getting a lot of YouTube wishes, which are really cool. And then the last wish type is I Wish to Give. And so those are wish kids who are giving back to their community. We recently had an 18-year-old boy named Nicholas who wished to give toys back to CHLA. He wanted to, he was at CHLA, he was a patient there during his teen years, and he never really had anything to kind of keep him entertained because he was older. So he wanted to make sure that the floor that he was on, every single child's got an age-appropriate wish. And so he, along with our wish team, went one day and delivered toys to all the kids at the hospital. So those are really special wishes because those are kids giving back to their community. So if there's one thing that we want to take away from this wish process is that it takes a village. It takes a village to grant one wish, let alone grant the 300 plus wishes that we're granting here in LA every year. There was a little mistake on the bio that I sent you because I think that was from a few months ago, but we actually did just grant our 10,000th wish last month. So we have granted 10,000 wishes in Los Angeles. It's a huge milestone. Our 10,000th wish was 6-year-old Jocelyn. She wanted to be a gymnast for the day. And so we worked with the UCLA gymnastics team, and they were amazing. They gave her a whole entire day of being a gymnast, and she got to show off her skills. And she was just the best. She was the best wish kid for this because she loved being the center of attention. She loved being in front of the camera. And so if you go on her social media, you'll see plenty of pictures of Jocelyn. But it's a huge milestone, and we're definitely proud of the 10,000 wishes we've granted, but there's still a lot more out there to grant. We currently have about 500 wishes in our pipeline of kids that are waiting to be, whose wishes are waiting to be granted. And that's not even including all the probably 3 times more kids that don't even know about Make-A-Wish. So with that said, I'd love to share just some ways that we need support, because it does take a village. We can't grant wishes without our team, obviously, in the office, but also our volunteers, our donors, our corporate sponsors, our vendors. It really does take an entire team to grant the wishes. So here are some ways that you can help. Maybe you can spread the word. And I always share this because we do need help, and especially at a local level here in Los Angeles. Any outreach, any fundraising, any volunteers that we recruit here locally are going to help our local wish kids. They're going to help kids in your backyard. So the first way is just to spread the word. We refer wish kids. If you know a kid who has a critical illness and might qualify, send them to our website, call the office, let them know that Make-A-Wish is here to help. That's the best way to do it, especially if we still have that misconception of terminal illnesses. There's a lot of wish families out there that get really scared when they hear Make-A-Wish, and so we're still trying to kind of debunk the myth because we're here to help. The impact of a wish is something that's very powerful, especially in today's communication. We're starting to see more studies come out through Make-A-Wish about what the impact of a wish is and the power of a wish. A recent study was completed in Israel, and there's another study that's going to be coming out showing that a wish is not just a nice to have, but it's a necessary part of the treatment process. Doctors are starting to prescribe wishes because they themselves are seeing the impact of a wish in their patients. The kids are getting better, they're getting physically better, they're getting emotionally, mentally better. They're seeing the effect of a wish on the families and kind of bringing them back together and reminding them that there's a world outside of those hospital walls. And so whether that wish is a reward for completing treatment, whether it's something that they get to do during the worst times of their treatment to help them bring out that hope, strength, and joy, wishes are making a difference, and we can all be part of that if we come together. So in addition to referring, obviously we need funding, and there's a lot of ways to help with funding. It's not just going on our website and giving a donation. There's a lot of ways to get the community involved in this fundraising effort. We have those 500 wishes waiting, and we can't grant them if we don't have the funds to grant them. And so right now, that's really the biggest thing holding us back from granting those wishes is having the appropriate funds to grant the wish. On average, a wish costs $10,000. Obviously, there's some wishes that cost a lot less, those tangible wishes, but then there's some wishes that cost a lot more, those international wishes that we're getting. And so on average, those $10,000, or each wish costs about $10,000. And so how are we meeting those needs? Again, individual donations is a huge one for us. We do not get any assistance from the government, and so all our funds comes from individual donations and from fundraising. Another way is corporate sponsors. We're always looking to work with local businesses or local corporations that can support as a team. We also need our schools. We have a youth fundraising program called Kids for Wish Kids, and so we work with schools around Los Angeles who are fundraising at within their schools to help other kids their age. One example is Beverly Hills High School is one of our biggest supporters of the Kids for Wish Kids program, and so every year they hold what's called a Wish Week. And during that Wish Week, it's kind of like a spirit week. And so every day they get to do something different, or they do a penny drive, or they get to, I think they paid to tape teachers to the walls. They get really creative with the way they're fundraising, and all the funds that they raise during that week will come to Make-A-Wish. Another really important fundraising method is our events. We hold 3 signature events here in Los Angeles. Our gala usually takes place in November, but coming up very soon, and I'm inviting you all to our upcoming event, is our Walk for Wishes. It's going to be taking place at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and in an effort to celebrate our milestone of our 10,000th wish, we're doing things a little bit different this year, and we're focusing on 10,000 steps. So we're inviting all our participants to reach 10,000 steps that morning. We're going to have a walk route, but then we're also going to have a lot of activities and picnic games, and it's just a really fun family day. We've invited all our Wish families, and we're hoping to have a great turnout of our Wish kids there representing Make-A-Wish. But it's a great chance to bring our community together and celebrate the wishes that we've granted, but also continue to raise funds for all those wishes that are waiting. Another exciting event that is actually brand new this year is our Trailblaze Challenge. So if we have any hikers out there, the Trailblaze Challenge is a 28-mile hike in one day in Big Bear. And it sounds crazy, but we actually already have about 70 hikers that are committed and ready to take on this challenge. In addition to hiking the 28 miles, as if that wasn't hard enough, each of them are asked to raise $2,500 for Make-A-Wish. And I think they've already reached, I think one person has already reached $20,000, one hiker alone. So it's turning out to be a really amazing event. Another way that you can get involved is through volunteering. I handle our volunteer program, so I'm a little biased towards volunteering. But we're always looking for volunteers, especially in this area. And we have probably about 30 kids in the Palmdale, Lancaster area waiting for wishes. And I think we have about 10 volunteers currently in this area. So we're always looking for more ways to increase our volunteer recruitment up here in Palmdale, Lancaster. So if any of you have any ideas, please let me know. We're always looking to increase our recruitment and our outreach out here. And I think I covered most of that. I think the beauty of Make-A-Wish is that every single person in this room can help in one way or another. It's just a matter of finding that right fit for you, whether it's being a donor, whether it's being a volunteer, whether it's being a referral source for a wish kid. I think that's the best thing about Make-A-Wish. And so I invite you all to join our Make-A-Wish family in one way or another. If you have any questions, I'm happy to give you a brochure, to give you my contact information. If you have any ideas, again, we're always open to ideas because at the end of the day, we're here for the next wish. We are very happy about those 300 wishes that we granted here in LA last year, and we're excited about our 10,000th wish. But at the end of the day, our job is to grant that next wish and the wish after that. And so if you can be a help of that, we always appreciate any support and any promotion of what we do. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I'm here to answer any questions too.
Alex, did you mention the date for that 10,000 Steps event?
Thank you. The event is on April 6th. It's a Saturday, coming up in a couple of weeks at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. If you go on our website, la.wish.org, all the information is on there. You'll be able to register your team. You can register as a team or as an individual. And so again, if you have a family, if you have a company, if you have just a community group that you want to bring out to the Coliseum to support this, you can create a team, and together you can fundraise as a team. Any other questions?
So how about the hike? What's the date for that?
So the hike is May 11th and 12th. It's Mother's Day weekend, Friday to Sunday. If you're interested in that hike, let me know and I can put you in touch with Mark Sawyer, our events director, who's spearheading the event. I think they're working on finalizing who's actually committing to the hike. So if you're interested, definitely let me know as soon as you can so I can put you in touch with Mark.
And you can all contribute then.
The hike, there you go. That's what I suggested. I suggested a relay hike, but I guess maybe next year. It's been really cool. The hikers, I've gone to a couple of the training hikes, and these are just people who have never even heard of Make-A-Wish before and just loved hiking, and now they're hearing about Make-A-Wish and supporting us in a huge way. So it's really fun.
I just went on your website, and we're planning on donating one of our vehicles to Make-A-Wish.
Yes.
How does that work and help by donating your vehicles?
So that's technically a separate program. It's called Wheels, or Wishes on Wheels, I think it's called. And so that's going through our national office. So I'm not 100% sure how the breakdown of the donation is, but it is going back to Make-A-Wish at a national level.
Yeah, because they say they pick it up here in
Yes.
Lancaster, Palmdale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, no, it still comes back to Make-A-Wish at a national level. That's another thing I want to mention is yes, support Make-A-Wish at a national level, but always remember that locally, Greater Los Angeles needs your support. Local dollars, local funds that are raised are supporting our local kids, the kids in your backyard. And so even though we know that Make-A-Wish is a very well-known brand across the country, and we know people think Make-A-Wish, it is a national organization, but just keep Greater LA in mind when you are looking to support, because we need your local support here for kids in Palmdale and Lancaster.
So that comes back to you guys.
You're right. When you're supporting Make-A-Wish Greater LA, so our events, our schools, our corporate sponsors here in LA, those are supporting our local kids.
No, the car, if she donates.
Oh, the car, a portion of it will, yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Great, well thank you again so much, and I'll be here if anyone wants to speak to me after.